tonight's Chick-fil-A fan camp. In the rain, in costume. The Aggie students, they were out for fall break last week. Back in the house here at Merlin Olsen Field, Maverick Stadium. Yeah, it's been off and on rain, downpours, and that wintry mix. But folks here at the very nicely renovated Maverick Stadium with a big tip of the cap to John Hartwell, the athletic director here at Utah State. And his staff are putting together facilities for us. A 23-7 lead for San Diego State after Utah State had an early 7-0 advantage. The 11th play of the drive coming up. First play of the fourth quarter will be 3rd and goal for Christian Chapman, Donnell Pumphrey, and the Aztecs.
Two guys to keep your eyes on. David Wells, 88, the tight end, and of course Donnell Pumphrey.
Chapman, toss, Pumphrey. He's going to throw it. Incomplete. So they go with the Donnell Pumphrey pass intended for Curtis Anderson. And Donnell Pumphrey is 0 for 1 as a passer in his San Diego State career.
Man, Donnell Pumphrey needs to stay in his lane. What is he doing? I like the creativity of this play call. But there might have been some other options to try and get that football into the end zone. And hey, how about the Aggies? They got another stop down deep in the red zone. So, working on my positivity.
Right. 4 for 4 field goals now for John Barron. That makes him 10 for 11 on the year. And early in the fourth, 26-7 San Diego State. On Wyoming, undefeated in conference play. On the road in Laramie, 7 o'clock Eastern time, presented by Geico. And Brian Hill and Jeremy McNichols. We talk so much about Donnell Pumphrey. This is a league loaded with excellent running backs.
There's so much talent in this conference, and watching Brian Hill and Jeremy McNichols go head-to-head in that game tomorrow is going to be fun to watch. But James Butler, Nevada's had a tremendous year. Again, there's some tremendous talent in this conference, and old number 19 is certainly the cream of that crop.
Smiling because Pumphrey has his 4th game with at least 220 yards rushing this year. No other player in the country has more than one of 220 plus. This will be Hunt to the 17-yard line for Utah State. It's been 26 straight points for San Diego State. So Donnell Pumphrey gets to have a big laugh with his teammates early in the fourth.
The peppercorn.
Welcome back to Maverick Stadium. It is 26-7 San Diego State. Now, I've had the pleasure of working many San Diego State games over the last few years, and there's always been one constant. It's my new buddy, Tom Abels. He's 90 years old, and this is his 778th Aztec game. 778. He actually started back at the school in 1946, where he was a sports editor. And guys, there's a lot of history here. He was in attendance when San Diego State first played Utah State in 1947. He also, that 1967 game I discussed at the beginning, the only time Utah State beat SDSU, yep, Tom remembers it well. And the last time the Aztecs played in Logan in 1975, you best believe he was on the sideline. Guys, he's only missed 3 games since 1946.
That is awesome. Way to go, Tom. Looking very sharp, and in the rain in Logan, Utah, and here to support his Aztecs. And they've scored 26 straight. That's incomplete. So Tom Abels, I mean, that's all right. So the first meeting in 47.
Wow.
67, the only Utah State win, and then 75, the last time in Logan. So Tom Abels has attended all those. Now Jenny told you about how that win in 67 snapped the Aztecs' 25-game winning streak. They didn't lose again for 31 games. So Tom watched the Aztecs, their only loss in 56 games in the mid-1970s during the Don Coryell years. Their only loss in 56 games was that Utah State loss.
That's amazing. I mean, and I think that that's what makes college football so amazing. It's the passion, it's the pageantry, it's the dedication, the regionality of it. And Tom Abels is a perfect example of what this game's all about. mean, think about that, the dedication it takes to do that. 700+ football games. Win, lose, or draw. He's been there for him.
Flag down here. A chance to tell you about the famous line about that game in '76. Fast Eddie Felson, Paul Newman's character in The Color of Money. A movie that Jenny has not seen.
Jenny hadn't seen any movies.
So Fast Eddie Felson asked about the greatest football game he'd ever seen. He said, Utah State, San Diego State, 1976. Paul Newman's character in The Color of Money.
You went deep in the research for that one.
Oh, there's more.
There's no foul for Eagle touch. Third down.
3rd and 10 coming up.
Seen Ken Myers be errant with his passes tonight. For whatever reason, they're all coming out a little bit high, which makes the receivers have to go up and get the football, particularly when they're over the middle. Needs to get that aiming location point down. Myers'
deep shot, incomplete, off the hands of Tarver, and that's Ron Smith, the redshirt freshman who's playing because of the suspensions to Babish and Vaughn with a solid play in coverage.
This is just a one-on-one go route down the field. Keeps getting depth and closes that gap. It makes a great play on the ball right when it arrives to the hands of the receiver. That's some of the depth. You get these young players making plays, and another job getting themselves off the field to perfection by the Aztecs.
Truxton, fair catch, has it at the 35. 26 straight for San Diego State. We will discuss more ties between the Aztecs and the Aggies when we return. San Diego State closing in on a 7-1 mark on the year, 4-0 in Mountain West Conference play. 14 straight conference wins. That is the longest streak in the FBS. They've been blowing their opponents out. I mean, 713 days since their last loss in Mountain West Conference competition. And the big San Diego State news of the week, the hiring of new athletics director, John David Wicker. He just left San Diego State for Georgia Tech last July, now back as AD. Trying to solve the sphinx that is the San Diego football stadium issue.
Yeah, San Diego's got several issues with stadiums for lots of their football teams.
Washington first down, carry, he breaks it again. Washington had his first touchdown run in the first quarter, and he nearly has his second. Shoved out by Daniel Gray. It's a 63-yard run for the redshirt freshman, Juwan Washington.
He just squirted through that offensive line, and it was off to the races. A couple missed tackles after some great blocks inside, and Washington's off to the races, but he gets caught by Gray. Now, Carter, in the football world, they're going to be happy about that and congratulate him, but he's going to hear a lot from his teammates about getting walked down here near the goal line.
First 100 rushing yard game for Juwan Washington. Sets up 1st and goal for the Aztecs.
They're going to feed 29 again, let him finish what he started.
Washington 1st and goal, slipping his way into the end zone. Second rushing touchdown for the freshman Juwan Washington, and the Aztecs tack on another rushing touchdown. 32 straight points after they trailed 7-0.
That's the way to answer the call, taking advantage of it. Saw Rashad Penny leave the game earlier. He came back in. Juwan Washington batting cleanup. Donnell Pumphrey on the sidelines. But this rushing attack of the Aztec has been dominant tonight. The Aggies having no answer for any of it.
389 rushing yards for San Diego State tonight. 63 of them on the run from Washington. He had only 72 rushing yards on the year coming into tonight. 123 in the game and 2 touchdowns for the freshman from Kennedale, Texas. 33 straight for San Diego State. Juwan Washington and Donnell Pumphrey both over 100 rushing yards in the game. That's 72 coming in. Rashad Penny had that little tweak on the 56-yard returns. They started feeding Washington, and he has his first 100-yard rushing game as an Aztec. Now that's true fans and student sections, and applause to you. In the rain, teams down 33-7, or when our cameras in the student section with the Aggie faithful. I mean, your team's about to fall to 3-5 on the year. You're down 33-7. It's raining, and you're still there with them through the end. Tip of the cap. Well, coming up on Monday here on CBS Sports Network, breaking down all the Week 8 action. Adam Shine and his gaggle, his plethora of former NFL quarterbacks gather for NFL Monday QB, delivered by FedEx. That's Monday at 6 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network.
That's a great show. I learned a lot about the NFL, get caught up. Going into the studio and the bullpen, when they're taping it, we have the sound on and we get a first look, but some of the conversations that happen when they're not taping are just as interesting as the ones that get recorded.
It's funny how that happens. Myers, that's intercepted. Picked off by Malik Smith. He's going to take it back inside the 10. Touchdown, San Diego State. Malik Smith with a 28-yard pick six, and it is turning into a rout in the rain.
Malik Smith almost had an interception earlier in the game. Kent Myers completely telegraphing where he's going to throw the football. Just no zip on the ball. Malik Smith reads it right away, takes it in for the touchdown. That's too easy for the Aztecs. Two costly turnovers by the Aggies, adding insult to injury to what's been a pretty tough night for them.
12th interception of the year by the San Diego State defense. That is shorthanded. It's a secondary without two of its starters. Naeem McGee goes down. Babish and Vaughn are suspended. And then San Diego State just keeps on rolling. Smith with a pick six off of Myers. It's now 40 straight points for San Diego State. Donnell Pumphrey turning into Malik Smith's biggest fan on the Aztec sideline, dancing in the rain.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. By Bud Light. Raise one to right now. By Lowe's. And by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Utah State had a 7-0 lead in this game. Since then, all Aztecs here in Logan, Utah. San Diego State's first trip here since 1975 to Merlin Olsen Field at Maverick Stadium. 14-time Pro Bowler Merlin Olsen. Gerald Bright near the goal line. Flag down as he's tackled at the 23-yard line.
I think his career in Little House on the Prairie is worth noting, though, don't
Absolutely.
you?
Merlin Olsen, FTD.
One of my favorite shows growing up as a kid.
That's the record 14 straight Pro Bowls, by the way, Merlin Olsen.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 6, penalty being forced, half distance to go, first down, Utah State.
Hey, one of the big matchups in college football right down the road, Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I'm going to be at that game where Washington's going to go on the road to take on a Utah team that has found a running game after all the injuries. And Nebraska-Wisconsin's one a lot of people are watching in the Big Ten. Nebraska undefeated, but that Wisconsin front seven defensively, man, they are good. And Clemson, Florida State, two teams in the ACC, both have kind of significantly underperformed what their expectations were. I think Clemson's going to win that game. I think having the week off, kind of recommitting, knowing what's ahead of them, is going to give them just what they need to get that win, but it won't be easy against a Florida State team that might be getting a little bit more healthy now.
Alex Barrett tackles Devontae Mays for a loss. Washington loses that game. They're not out of the national championship and college football playoff picture, but it's clear now if the Pac-12 wants to get a team in the college football playoff, their hopes are riding on the Huskies.
Yeah, no question. It's been really a down year. UCLA has underperformed. USC struggled early, but is really kind of one of the better teams. It's kind of figured some things out on that side of the football.
Hey, what about Oregon?
Oregon's been bad. Stanford's been awful. Some of the teams that we expected to do well. And I thought coming into the year that Oregon was going to struggle, but I didn't think that Stanford would struggle this bad. So much so that they're made a change of quarterback, hoping to get that offense kind of giddy up and going. It's been a tough year for them, but Washington's looked pretty good, man. But being on the road, can you win on the road? That's where coaches say all the time that you learn what it is you have and what you're capable of. And there are a ton of the teams that are undefeated that are on the road, and 20 of the top 25 teams that play, 14 of them are on the road. So there's a very good chance we're going to wake up Sunday morning and the rankings and national championship picture for the playoff are going to look quite a bit different potentially than they do tonight.
Hobbs in at quarterback for Utah State, gets just enough to move the chains. And Hobbs remains in 1st and 10 for Utah State. Remember, Myers' last throw was the pick 6.
And Hobbs gives them an ability to run the football, get him some nice, meaningful reps. This game is pretty out of control at this point. This is helping get your football team better and maybe getting them a spark.
Hobbs popped by Austin Wyatt Thayer. We talk about the connections between San Diego State and Utah State. The San Diego sportscasting legend Al Coupe, both of his sons played football at Utah State.
Sports Today with Al Coupe.
Delivered like a San Diego, longtime San Diego resident, Aaron Taylor.
That's how we roll.
Myers back in at QB, and he will be sacked. Kelly and Barrett combine on the sack. 3rd down coming up.
Alex Barrett just been a beast around the football coming into tonight. Had 5 or 6 sacks. Had 5.5 a year ago. He's going to get another credit for half a sack there. Just so quick. He's the quintessential Rocky Long defensive lineman. 6'3", 255. From Mesa, Arizona originally. But man, one of the steadiest playmakers that they've had on this defense. 3rd in tackles on this team as a defensive lineman.
Myers stepping up away from the pressure, and he'll be dropped for a loss. Here comes a flag. This, Sergio Phillips credited with the tackle there. This could be a costly one. Gets the Aztecs as much as it's costly, up 40-7.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 33, 15-yard penalty, and automatic 1st down.
Parker Baldwin, the safety, and late.
Got to be smart. Parker Baldwin, that Aztec position, call that a jump on the pile. Really nice job, though, by Sergio Phillips playing one-handed. Got that big cast on that right hand to be able to get Myers down.
Lewis on the reverse. The Aztecs were ready. I mean, Dakota Turner at defensive end just stood his ground on the edge and tackles Lewis for a loss. Here comes another flag way late.
This is what you got to do. You got to set the edge. Watch the top of your screen. They slipped the tight end out trying to get a block. That might have even been a reverse pass of some sort, but the Aztecs are all over it.
And you saw way down the field, Tarver getting tangled up with Ron Smith, and that is what drew the flag at the end of the play.
Play count, 2nd down.
Microphone difficulties, but the foul is on Ron Quaven Tarver, the sophomore wide receiver, so he gets the personal foul. And move it all the way back with a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, that's not uncommon, unfortunately. You're getting frustrated. You're trying to make a play. You've been getting pushed around all night, and you're tired of it, and you're getting frustrated. So you just get yourself a foolish penalty, and move you backwards after San Diego State gave them a gift. Now they're in second in Salt Lake City.
Nice.
Thank you.
Myers pressured, caught, nice grab. Rodriguez holds it in, takes the pop and keeps rolling. Back to near the original line of scrimmage at the 34-yard line.
I'm so surprised that this football didn't get intercepted. Myers lets this thing go, and I held my breath. On the move, it just floats up there, goes through one defender's hands, almost gets tipped into Cameron Kelly's hands, but somehow they come up with it and get a big chunk back into a 3rd and 12 situation after that costly penalty on 2nd down.
Myers play fake 3rd and 12. Deep shot downfield. It is caught inside the Aztec 25-yard line. So the Aggies hit a big one. It's Myers who hauls it in.
And that was one-on-one with Ron Smith, number 17, the cornerback. Remember, Derek Babish, Billy Vaughn, all out with suspensions. Naeem McGee with the injury. And the Aggies finally connect on a deep shot, something they've tried and wanted to do all game long.
43 yards. Biggest offensive play of the night for Utah State. Play fake 1st down. Myers to the end zone for Lewis. Incomplete. Tangled up with Cameron Kelly.
Lewis ran a nice route there. Fake like he was going in for a post, and then turned it in basically into a skinny post. I think if he had turned that into a corner route, meaning running more towards the corner of the end zone, he might have bought himself a little bit more room so that Kip Myers could have dropped that football in there.
Myers on 2nd and 10. He's going to roll, throw, incomplete again. Send it for Colston Green. Chance for us to check in with Jenny Dell.
Yeah, guys, you were just talking about the cornerbacks for the Aztecs, and Kalen Montgomery has been on the sideline since the 3rd. They put a right knee brace on him. He tried to run around, but he hasn't been back in the game since.
Well, that's big for San Diego State, Jenny, because, I mean, as Aaron, as you were just detailing, you're without 3 key members of your secondary, and those suspensions for Babish and Vaughn are indefinite suspensions. So that's why the freshman Ron Smith got an even more run here in the 2nd half.
Rocky Long saying that a decision would be made permanently with Babish and Vaughn, and also Fred Melefonwu, who were also 3 players that were 3 among the 6 that got suspended for 6 games a year ago to start the season in 2015. Big reason why the Aztecs struggled early on, starting the year 1-3. So the decision making by some of the defensive playmakers for the Aztecs hasn't been ideal in key positions.
4th down here for Utah State, down 40-7.
The Aztecs have been able to get pressure without blitzing. My guess is they'll just bring 4 or 5 at the most, but this ball should come out quickly.
Myers to the end zone, caught, touchdown. Colston Green holds it in, so the longest drive of the night for Utah State results in a touchdown. Myers to Colston Green, 23 yards to cap that 91-yard touchdown drive.
Colston Green came in tonight with only 2 receptions. Great protection. Myers allowed to stop his feet, or set his feet. And again, Ron Smith, the young cornerback, getting taken advantage of.
First Aggie touchdown for Jaron Colston Green, the junior from Tallahassee, Florida, via Arizona Western College. Brock Warren on for the PAT, and it is no good. Just when the Aggies were feeling it a little bit on the touchdown pass from Myers to Colston Green, and for the first time since their opening possession, the Aggies score. After 40 straight points by San Diego State, the Aggies finally get a touchdown, but the missed PAT. So 40-13 as San Diego State closes in on 4-0 and Mountain West Conference play. Looking to make it 12-1 all time against Utah State. Aggie football program that has been to 5 straight bowls, only 3 wins on the season. After tonight, 4 games left to try and get to 6 wins and make it 6 straight bowls. And Pumphrey just takes a knee there. Another big smile, and why not? Donnell Pumphrey with another epic night for San Diego State.
We started this game talking about you are the company you keep. The reality is Donnell Pumphrey has a chance to be the most prolific and efficient and productive running back in the history of this game. I think if he beats Ron Dane's record, the Heisman Committee needs to strongly consider inviting him to New York City. Look at this performance tonight. Breaking Marshall Faulk's record, Ron Dane. I mean, what hasn't this guy done, and what else does he need to do to be considered one of the greatest of all time? I think they missed last year on inviting Keenan Reynolds to New York. I think Donnell Pumphrey has certainly warranted that if he continues to be as productive and finishes the year like he started it and like he's played the 3 before it.
Donnell Pumphrey is our Auto Trader player of the game. Those 223 rushing yards. And say this about Donnell as Agnew's coming to quarterback for San Diego State. I mean, all of these numbers for Donnell Pumphrey. He didn't play in the 4th quarter last week against San Jose State. He's not carrying the ball in the 4th quarter here in this blowout game. I mean, Pumphrey's going to break the all-time, potentially break the all-time rushing yards record without the Aztecs even trying to roll up bigger numbers for number 19. And I think those of us who watch this team on a regular basis understand that, but I'm not sure if everybody else knows that Donnell Pumphrey is putting all of this up without trying to pad stats.
Yeah, and I think the best thing that San Diego State can do to get recognition for its ball club is to continue to win. They've got a really good opportunity to be the highest rated conference champion at the end of the year, potentially. The loss to South Alabama certainly hurts that. But Rocky Long being smart with the best weapon that this team has by far.
Well, South Florida did San Diego State, Boise State in the Mountain West Conference favor by beating Navy tonight. As Juwan Washington pushes forward, the Aztecs closing in on 400. In fact, they've just gone past it. 401 rushing yards in the game. So last year they ran for 336 against Utah State in San Diego. And the Aggies said it will not happen again. We're ready. We're prepared. And the San Diego State offense, 401 rushing yards tonight.
Which is almost 4 times as many as Fresno State had a week ago. The Bulldogs getting 114 yards, not even averaging 3 yards a carry. And on the season, Utah State has only given up 151 yards per game on average. I mean, that's middle of the road in the 50s. But clearly, what's happening tonight isn't a function of Utah State not being able to stop the run. This isn't the Cal Bears we're talking about. This is San Diego State doing what it does. They're doing what they do. Taking a look at Jeff Horton there, the offensive coordinator. He's got the easiest and most simple job in America, man. Run power right, run power left, toss sweep, lead, weak side ISO, touchdown. But he does a great job and coaches these guys up well. There's some penetration there.
Washington going to be dropped. Utah State gets a little burst defensively, and it's Chase Christensen and Ricky Ali-Ifua who lead the way on Washington.
Yeah, there's a lot of freshmen out there at the offensive line position. Seafeld's not even blocked. Penetration all over the joint. San Diego State trying to get some meaningful reps for its backups. Ali-Ifua making a nice play, playing hard, man. Again, this Utah State team hadn't played well, but I think they played pretty hard tonight. And sometimes when you get your butt whipped and get punched in the mouth, you got to hang your hat on something. And it doesn't take any talent to play with effort.
Almost blocked. Lane contacted, no flag. Rodriguez let it roll as they go for the block. And it takes about all the way inside the 20-yard line. So as we talk about that group of 5 and the highest ranked conference champion. And by the way, if you end up with a team who's not ranked, just the committee's going to rank them. But with Navy losing to USF, that changes the picture. Now it makes the Boise State-Wyoming game that's on CBS Sports Network tomorrow even bigger.
No doubt. Boise State, man, with the way that they're playing, they've been living by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Last in the Mountain West Conference, -8 in turnovers, have only generated 3 takeaways. For me, my money's on Western Michigan at the moment. They are rowing that boat, looking good. The bye week's hitting at the right time. They're the only undefeated team in the MAC West because Toledo took an L on the chin last night. PJ Fleck has his team playing at a super high level. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they're the ones in the Cotton Bowl.
Damian Hobbs at quarterback, handing off to Devontae Mays.
Taking a look at the Falcons at the Buccaneers on the NFL Network Thursday at 7:30. Kind of come to enjoy that NFL football in the NFL Network.
That's well put.
Thank you.
San Diego State with 403 rushing yards tonight. That is the 23rd highest output in the FBS this year. Hobbs goes rolling on second down, has a first down. Auburn against Arkansas when Auburn rushed for 543 against Arkansas. That is the high water mark rushing yards by a team in college football this year.
And they did it without their best running back. I mean, the resurgence and the rebound for Gus Malzahn's team, that last late second win that cost Les Miles his job, has by far been the biggest turnaround, I think, in college football from where they were then to where they are now.
Hobbs on the roll on first down. A junior from Cedar Hill, Texas. Redshirted at Oregon 1 year. Damian Hobbs led the Cedar Hill Longhorns to the 5A Division II state title game. Then went to Eugene and now to Logan, Utah.
Here he is. And I'll say this, man. Matt Wells is, I think, one of the better coaches in the country. In his 4 years since he's been in the Mountain West Conference, he is 12-2, now going to be 12-3 here at home. Playing in Mountain West Conference championships, sending linebackers to the NFL, just a tremendous developer of talent that I think is one of the better and underappreciated coaches in the country.
I mean, you can't deny the 1-4 in the league this year. That's been a huge disappointment for Utah State and for Matt Wells. But this is a guy, in the history of Utah State football, they had 2 wins against AP top 25 opponents. Matt Wells has 3 wins against AP top 25. His first year as a head coach on any level, he was the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year. And when you talk to people not just around this league but around the country, Matt Wells is one of the names that comes up as a bright future star in the coaching business. And again, this isn't fun right now for Utah State as they're going 1-4 in conference competition. But Matt Wells, the former Utah State quarterback who came here with Gary Anderson and truly turned this program around. They had 9 wins in 4 years prior to Gary Anderson and Matt Wells and that staff turning things around here in Logan.
Just a tremendous job, and all the turnover. I mean, losing both your coordinators for the last 3 straight years. I mean, who can recover from that? But Matt Wells, to your point, is a very good coach. And we take a look here at the Mountain West standings. You see San Diego State there, undefeated now after tonight's win, 4-0. This was the game heading down the stretch. If Boise State can stay undefeated, they could meet in the Mountain West Conference Championship game, assuming they win out. But, man, I'm telling you, Wyoming with that running game of Brian Hill, do not sleep on what Craig Bohl's team has been able to do Boise State is a good and talented football team, but they are not playing as consistent as they'll need to make it to the championship game.
We will be in Laramie in 3 weeks for San Diego State at Wyoming. In fact, the next 4 San Diego State games, every game left in the San Diego State schedule is on CBS Sports Network. Hawaii at home next week, and we will see them at Nevada, at Wyoming. They're on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, and San Diego State chasing a Mountain West Conference title and potentially a shot at that New Year's Six bowl game. And they are going to take a knee and get out of here with a 40-13 win. After Utah State scored on its opening drive to go up 7-0, it was 40 straight points for San Diego State. They go to 4-0 in Mountain West Conference competition. Over 400 rushing yards in the game for San Diego State. Donnell Pumphrey goes for 223 rushing yards to move into 5th place all time, and he doesn't carry the ball in the 4th quarter, and yet the Aztecs make it 15 straight wins against Mountain West Conference opponents, the longest conference winning streak in the FBS.
And they've outscored their opponents by almost 24 points on average in those 14 games, Carter. San Diego State behind an efficient, uber-effective run game and relentless defense has been on a streak. It's been pretty dang fun to watch. If they can keep it up, this could go down in the history of this program. 94 years as being the best season the Aztecs ever had if they make it to the New Year's Six.
This is the best start for San Diego State since 1977 when they went 10-1. The only team in program history to finish in the AP Top 25. They were 16th that year, coached by Claude Gilbert. So now San Diego State at 7-1, and they'll try and become the 2nd Aztec team to close out the year ranked in the AP Top 25. 4-0 atop the Mountain West Conference West Division. And Jenny Dell is with Donnell Pumphrey in the rain.
Donnell, 223 rushing yards tonight. How are you able to do this week after week?
My offensive line, they're blocking their tails off every week, and my fullbacks, and it's just the game plan. We came in with the right preparation, and we were able to handle the run game well.
You're on pace right now, as you well know, to beat the NCAA rushing record. Is that something you think about coming into games?
I mean, it's on my mind, but I honestly don't go into the games think about it. I just go into the games think about the win, because these guys, they come out here and they practice and they work their tails off every game, and that's who I play for.
What would that mean to you? What would that honor mean?
It'd mean a lot to me, but it'd mean a lot to those guys as well, and just to the program, and that's all we're out here working for.
And now this program is 4-0 in Mountain West Conference play. What do you know about this team that maybe you didn't know coming into the game?
That when times are rough, they keep playing hard, and when one guy's down, another guy comes in and they're able to play well. Like Jawan Washington, today was like his debut. It was his first career touchdown, and he was able to run the ball super hard, and our offensive line did a great job getting him into the end zone twice.
Always a team player. Thank you again. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Well, for giving love to the offensive line, to Jawan Washington, who goes for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns, the first 2 of his career. And San Diego State heads back to Southern California with a 40-13 win. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, our entire crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. 4-0 in Mountain West Conference play. 15 straight conference wins for San Diego State. Now we'll send you back to New York for Inside College Football, presented by Go RVing, Brent, Houston, and Christian.